My name is Rebecca Hope from Block News, and this is an episode of Meet the Makers. Today we have Marshall Taplits joining us, the CEO of Nynja. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Rebecca. Just a quick clarification, CSO, Chief Strategy Officer. My CEO will kill me.
Okay. Let's make that point. But yeah, it's great to have you nonetheless. And today we're talking about something really interesting where a lot of people are wanting to jump on this bandwagon of the freelance community and how it's structured currently online. But you guys are a little bit different. You've got some very unique experience behind you. Your background is in telecom and e-commerce, consulting. You've worked all over the world. You speak Chinese, which is amazing. And you're currently living in China. So it's very interesting, your story. Could you share with us a little bit about how you came to this point with Nynja?
Sure, thanks. One of my friends introduced me at a wedding to Bitcoin back when it was $2. He was mining it, and I read the white paper, and it blew my mind, I was in college back when the internet boom happened, so I guess I'm dating myself, but, it's just that same feeling when you know everything's going to change. And, when the internet is, I think we all agree it rewired the world, and that happened within 20, 30 years, and that was only communication. Now we're dealing with the same level of technology rewiring in the world, but now it's with not just communication, but, finance and contracts and governance, and I just think this is something that, I'm just very lucky to be part of.
Yeah. So what kind of changes, what evolutions have you seen till this point? And how have you seen the workplace transform with new websites like Upwork?
Yeah, it's a process. In the 1900s, it was, very hierarchical. And then, during the Industrial Revolution, everybody's, has to go to a place every day from X time to X time to do what they do as part of their process. But as the internet kind of really took off, we started decentralizing work. People can work from home, and now things are getting really peer-to-peer, and blockchain's enabling basically a global revolution in the future of work, which is that people can work whenever they want. And we've seen some early instances of this, like with Uber and Airbnb, where people can leverage their existing assets to make some extra money on the side, like driving their own car or renting out their own apartment, but now it's for your own labor. So I'm sure you know of Upwork and Fiverr and 99 Designs. These are the first generations of freelance networks, which basically free up companies to be able to get resources on demand, but also people to be able to work freely when they want. And that's going to go exponential now with blockchain technology, as we basically you don't need trust. You don't need the ability to do job postings anymore. There's a reputation on the blockchain. There's a lot of trends that are happening right now that are just going to completely revolutionize the industry.
Yes, I've also been using Upwork since it was Elance, and then they teamed up. So I also know, yeah. And that transition was terrible, and then
horrible.
Yeah, and even at the moment, there's so many structural things that are wrong. The amounts of proposals that can be sent to a client, and there's just too much competition. There's no regulation around the global economy that we're in. So what you're seeing is people just charging nothing for really high-end services. And so you have been quite a big contributor to Upwork, which makes you really different, right?
Right, well, exactly. So, Upwork is, look, I love Upwork. I use it all the time. I used it from 2007 when it was Odesk. We've done over 200 projects, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars through that platform. And so we really know what it's good and what it's bad for. And, they're less than 1% of the global freelance market. It's $1.4 trillion in the U.S. right now, and by 2030, there's going to be over 5 billion people in the world freelancing in some form or another. And Upwork, even though they're very successful, literally they're only getting 1% of the entire global freelance market right now. So, it's not a model, really. It's just... it just evolved to what it is. But, it is a race to the bottom. It is hard for new people to get started. And if we want to bring the next 2 billion people who are coming online over the next few years into the global economy, I don't believe that the traditional freelance services are what's going to get us there. But I believe Nynja will.
And there's a couple of websites that are trying to do this at the moment. A couple of people doing the same thing, trying to run an ICO and trying to create another kind of model with similar services to what you guys have, or features that you have with the dispute resolution and all that. But what makes you guys different?
So the main thing that makes us different is that we're working on an auto-assign engine and a reputation engine using the blockchain. So what we want to do is we want to make it that anytime somebody wants to do work, they can just turn on the app and jobs will literally drop in their lap, and we want them to perform those tasks in real time. And then when you flip the reverse on the client side, if you're in your workflow, whatever you need, you can actually get it in real time. So a real world example of that is, the Amazon seller business, which is I'm also an Amazon seller. So, somebody in the U.S., they need to contact a Chinese factory. It's very, very challenging with the language barrier. They can actually call the Chinese factory on the phone using Nynja and request a translator, in real time, and we can actually assign them, drop them into the call, and give them help in real time. We can do that for a variety of services, not just for calling. We can integrate with Salesforce.com. We can give companies the ability to elastically scale up and down their outbound calling Salesforce. There's many, many different ways that we can leverage our auto-assign technology. And I'd like to just point out there's an interesting statistic that most people don't know about. In San Francisco, Uber, basically before Uber came on the scene, the taxi industry was $150 million a year. A year after Uber, it was $600 million a year, of which $500 million went to Uber. And the reason for that is because Uber literally just made it easier to get service, right? They just made it, you hit a button, service comes. We're doing the same thing for work. When you hit a button, the work comes. And when you hit a button, the worker can come to you. And the advantage to this is we're going to create hundreds of millions of jobs that would have never been created before because it was just too challenging and too time-consuming to get it done.
And to a large extent, it is the design and interface. And it's great to talk about the back-end and development and everything, but how it appears and how people use it is huge and is what's going to make the difference. It needs to be easy. It needs to be, I like the fact that you match the client and the service provider. So do you think that will also help with regulating the problem of freelancers having to lower their cost because of the competition?
Exactly. And this is one of the main problems is, when you get started on these freelance sites, the only way to get your first job is to just absolutely crash the market price.
Right.
And hey, I am absolutely a capitalist and market, mentality type person. And a free market should, get the price to what is the right price. But what we don't need is people coming on and, selling legal services for $2 an hour just to get their first job, just to get their first review. And this incentive system has really caused a data problem within services, not only Upwork, but just the industry in general, with fake profiles and, fake work contracts just to get your first reviews. And, I'm afraid to give you anything less than 5-star if you don't give me 5-star. And just this whole culture. And it produces this horrible data misalignment, which makes the whole process of posting jobs and interviewing for jobs and applying for jobs even unnecessary because it's not working anyway. So I think, we're going to revolutionize the entire industry from the ground up. We've thought it through end to end, and we've got a much better proposal for how this should work.
Yeah, I also think I see that a lot, especially in really developed countries where the cost of living is very high, and those freelancers are really struggling, to compete against the ones in less expensive countries. So there needs to be some way, and I think the matching way of where can you explain to us how that would work, how you would match a service provider with somebody looking? Would that person have to be online at the time? Would it be based on their reviews, based on what?
Right, exactly. So we have an onboarding process that we've developed, and that onboarding process includes some tests. So just general cognition, make sure IQ is relatively reasonable, and as well as language skills. So, for example, if you say you want to work in English and Spanish and Chinese, make sure you have that capability. Yeah. And then we have task-specific type tests. So, for example, if you want to do design services, we're going to give you a Photoshop test and all these things. So we've basically seeded your reputation, if you will, with our onboarding process. And so now our matching engine, okay, it's true that they don't know how you perform in the real world, but we have a pretty good idea. And this is modeled off of the U.S. State Department, how they actually bring diplomats into the diplomat corps. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you went to college, doesn't matter if you have any education whatsoever. If you can pass the written test, you can go to Washington and take the oral test. If you can pass that, you can get your bonuses, for your language skills. And if you can pass that, you're in. And so we've just modeled that, and it worked for the U.S. government. It'll work for Nynja. And we believe that this auto assignment technology is really revolutionary, because what it's doing is it's structuring the data in a way that, and again using smart contract as well, basically nothing can be faked. So when we use our auto assign engine to basically assign a worker to a client, the accuracy of that is already going to be significantly better than the current freelance services, even though they let you choose and you think you're choosing, but in fact, it's mostly fake profiles.
What about once you are accepted in, you've done all your tests, and now you need to distribute the jobs evenly across the freelancers, give everybody a chance, right? So how would that work? What's the algorithm there?
Exactly. So basically, we want to encourage new people coming on and a large competitive market. Now, that does not mean a race to the bottom. Those are very different things. So we definitely have some tweaks in our algorithm to have a percent of people who are new versus established. We don't like the idea of the whole concept of outsourcing, in the sense that somebody from the West hires somebody from the East. Like, that is not how this is going to work. We have all sorts of mechanisms within our algorithm based on location, based on culture. If you need there are certain services that cultural fit is an important component, not only price. So we're basically taking into account all the data elements. I think there's about 35 or so that we're up to right now, probably about 50 to 60 by the time we go live, all these kind of data points that we use in order to choose the right person. And we also have mechanisms like, if you like the person, for example, you can give them a thumbs up, and if you don't like them, you can give them a thumbs down. But this does not impact their reputation or their ability to get jobs. It's just that, for you, next time when you request work, then you'll have, kind of a more filtered selection in case you liked or did not like a person. And also we have the ability to unlock a worker. So if you actually did work with somebody and you like them, you can actually pay a one-time fee to them, like a bonus, and unlock their contact to you directly. And now you can do work for free. You don't even need to pay us, and you're a direct contact. So really, in a way, we're not just a labor assignment service, but we're actually an introduction service. And we encourage people to build personal relationships even outside of us. And we provide the entire platform, including the multi-currency wallet and all the communication tools to support that.
Well, you can definitely see that your experience in using these platforms has really helped, because you understand the real-world problems. So, it's easy to look on the outside and just analyze data, but you actually have experience in using it. So I think that will make a big difference. So let's talk about your token sale. What are you running at the moment?
So we're looking at a $20 million hard cap, $10 million soft cap. We've had a couple relaunches. The regulations have constantly evolved and changed all over the world. So, we're excited now to we believe that the world has finally stabilized on what some sort of reasonable rules are. So we just follow them. We're in the private sale right now. So we're actively looking for our cornerstone investor, which or contributor, and we're on the road doing that. We currently have stopped the public sale. We never started it, but it was planned. We decided to put that on hold. Regulations still not quite clear, on all the rules there. And what's really cool is that we are going into our beta on August 15th. Okay. So we will actually be releasing our beta of our communication platform with the Nynja Coin wallet, as well as the work network won't be there, but the screens will be, so people can see how it will work. And this will be being launched in conjunction with our private ICO. So that's also very rare in this industry, to actually have a product and the ICO at the same time.
Yeah, when will that be?
August 15th, this coming month.
And then when do you expect to actually launch the website or the app?
So it'll be a multi-platform. It'll be on web, desktop, and mobile, and that'll be launched at the end of this year.
Wow, that's soon. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. I mean, we raised a few $1 million in equity end of 2016, early 2017. And we plowed that right into development. My original role, I'm one of 3 co-founders, originally the CTO. We started off the development over a year ago in Ukraine, Bulgaria. We have a few people in San Francisco and Hong Kong. And about 8 months ago, I think we hired a professional CTO who's ex-Cisco, and Nortel and what have you. And so he's been really scaling the development team. We've got 73 full-time developers right now, and on track to go live this year.
Yeah. So then, where would you be allocating your funds if the development's kind of almost there?
Well, there's so many things that need to be done. I mean, our vision is much, much greater than what our go live product will be. But yeah, I mean, basically the purpose of the ICO is twofold. One is to distribute the tokens. So we need to get pretty much as many people out there as possible knowing about Nynja and having essentially free credit to try the services. So, we really think of an ICO as similar to buying a prepaid gift card. Right. People give you the money right now, but then you owe them the service. So anybody who's looking to buy into our ICO, we consider them a potential future customer, and just get the tokens out there as quickly as possible. There's a ton of marketing that needs to be done. Yeah. There's a ton of relationship building that needs to be done, and we need to be on the road growing the freelance network, the supply side. We need to be on the road making partnerships with companies integrating for demand for services. So there's a lot of work to do, and that's what the ICO contributions are for.
So let's talk about that and the markets, entering different markets. What are you targeting at this point, or what are you looking at?
So, eventually we would, we consider ourselves a global platform, but in the beginning, just to keep things manageable, we're going to pick a few markets, and we're going to make a few types of service. So basically, on-phone translation is one. We're going to be focusing on writing services and design services, and we're going to be specifically targeting Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers, I should say, and other types of industries where there's a huge reliance on freelance services already. And we're going to be targeting countries that are already in the top % of the world in terms of freelance services, both on the client side and the supply side. So, for example, on the supply side, Philippines, India, Malaysia. On the demand side, a lot of European countries, United States, Canada. There's basically a supply and demand component to each side. Yeah. And we're going to basically attack the biggest markets up front for both of those. Okay,
so although you are a capitalist and you do obviously look at supply and demand, do you have some kind of, are you consciously thinking of markets where maybe there is a high unemployment and highly skilled people that maybe aren't on these platforms already, but maybe just giving a little bit of a push for those markets?
Well, everything is based on our capability. So, we're not going to go into villages in the middle of nowhere that we don't know anybody, but what we are doing is we're making partnerships for distribution into markets that are typically not focused on. So, for example, we just signed an agreement with Amgu, which is a mobile phone manufacturer based in Shenzhen here, and they're going to be pre-installing Nynja on 150,000 phones per month into the South American market. So as soon as Nynja launches, those phones will be out. That's almost 2 million phones in the first year alone. And that's targeted in South America, which is a huge market for, with people who have amazing skills, but, have not traditionally been the main focus of freelance markets. That's one opportunity for us. So we're looking at things like that.
Please try partner with a company like that in South Africa.
I used to work in South Africa, actually.
Really?
I did some consulting for Mr. Price and Pep in Durban.
Oh, fantastic.
So we will. I love South Africa, so yes, we will.
Yeah, that's great. And also in many European countries, we're seeing, there's a lot of really skilled people, but the workplace is just, people are being forced to do freelance work. And there are the skills, and so, it might also be worth taking a look at those other markets. But it sounds like you're starting with what you can manage, and you're planning for growth.
I think Europe is a perfect example of what you said. The labor laws, quite frankly, in Europe have just absolutely strangled people's ability to make a living. It's a complete disaster. Yeah. And if you look at the top charts of where freelance networks are most popular, actually Europe is one of the areas. So we will be focusing on Europe, and it's just interesting because it's like people like to think that if you regulate the labor marketplace as much as you do, you're actually helping people. But what you're really doing is you're helping the people who already have jobs by giving them more money per se. Yeah. But what you're stopping people from getting on the ladder. And so this is why it's very important to keep a free labor market, but while also avoiding a purposeful kind of crash to the bottom on pricing.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. But how are you going to manage this massive marketing campaign? Tell us about your team.
Sure. So we have a fantastic team. Our president, one of the co-founders, is Alec Vermont, and he speaks 7 languages. He grew up in Europe. He's American. He lives in Peru currently, and he's here in Hong Kong. And so, he's basically leading up our marketing effort. So he knows. We all know, our whole team knows, how to manage globally, but he in particular is orchestrating the marketing strategy. And, he also comes from a telecom background, just like myself. So we have huge relationships with carriers and phone manufacturers all over the world. So we're working on pre-install deals. We're working on online marketing. We're working on, obviously word of mouth and I hate the word, but viral solutions. So, there's a lot of ways. And I think what's great about cryptocurrency in general, and if you start with Bitcoin, why did it take off? I mean, ultimately it was because people thought they could make money, and they started mining. And, why did Uber take off? People thought they could make money. Why did Airbnb take off? People thought they could make money.
Yeah.
Anytime people can make money, things will take off. And what the great thing about Nynja is it's going to be the easiest way to earn money by doing work on any freelance network, and it's going to be the least administration and the least time to get work. So because of that, we believe it's going to spread quite quickly. But in terms of seeding the market, that's our marketing strategy.
And what about some of these websites like Thumbtack, where they take you have to pay basically for leads, like that model? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, again, the whole point of the blockchain industry is to just remove all the intermediaries and just kind of reduce the price of services as much as possible. So, our goal is to take as little as possible. I mean, we're currently thinking like 5%, but that 5%, I mean, that's going to include end-to-end. Even, we want to give debit cards to freelancers so they can take money out from any ATM. And we want to convert the Nynja coin back to Bitcoin and load it on these debit cards. So, we're looking at 5%. If we can go lower, we'll go lower. Our goal is to take as little cut as possible, because that's the whole point of blockchain, is to get the most efficient allocation of resources possible.
How has the blockchain architecture transformed things? How has it allowed for this kind of system to be so easy and not require so much development as in the past?
Yeah, I think, the main thing is, and people don't like to hear it, but the main thing is really just payment. It's as simple as that, because what happens is in the current system is, if you're living in the United States, for example, you can use Venmo, and it's basically just a layer over your bank account with ACH. And if you're in, China, you can use WeChat and you can do the same thing. Better even. But the thing is that, as soon as you go cross country, the fees, the banking system, the timing, the fraud, the chargebacks, the stolen credit cards, I mean, it just gets horrible, and one of the main amazing things about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency is money is now programmable and it's a protocol. Yeah. So if I say, I want a smart contract that says that, I'm going to pay the equivalent of, $15 in paid in Nynja coin to that guy, when he completes this task, it's done. It's escrow built in. There's nothing that can go wrong. It's programmable money. Yeah. And all the trust that's required, and all the, one of the reasons that platforms like Upwork, are able to command the amount of fees that they can is because what they're doing is they're solving the trust and the payment issue. And now that's done by cryptocurrency and blockchain. So it's just unneeded, basically. They're basically being made redundant.
Wow. Well, I think that I don't see any reason why somebody wouldn't invest in you if they had the money, because it's amazing. You guys are really robust, and I can definitely see how you're different in the market, and you have so much experience. You've got a system that looks like it can go worldwide. It can cope with, all these freelancers, and the interface, from what I can see visually, looks really nice. So I think it will help a lot of people. And good luck with everything. Take some time to rest and sleep. I hope for all the best in the next year.
I appreciate that, Rebecca. Thank you.
We're talking to Marshall Taplits from Nynja in China, and my name's Rebecca Hope from Block News in Los Angeles. Thank you.